trees inside of me.
Hi bakers, welcome back again to my baking tips, and today's one is on these bands that you might have heard of, not singing bands or group bands, music bands, bands that go around your sandwich tins, your cake tins if you're making layer cakes. Now my son bought me the fabric ones that wrap around the side of the tins, and I couldn't find them the other day, and you might have seen the pictures of the cake that I did, the one that was like a stack of pancakes. Now for that cake I used 4 layers of sponge, and rather than cut off domes, because normally I wouldn't bother about doming on cakes, a little bit of a dome is fine and it looks more realistic and homemade. But because I was doing the stack of pancakes and I was having to frost it and I wanted to stack them all nice, get as tight and compressed as possible, I didn't want to be cutting off cake. So what I did was I used makeshift bands, and with them it was just literally taking foil, strips of foil, and I didn't cut them long enough for the size of the tin, so I had 2 strips and I folded over the foil to make it the height of the tin, and I held it in place with paper clips, and they actually worked really well. I didn't think they would, but they did. So I've actually kept the foil, and I'm going to get more of the bands as well for different tins. It would be ideal for things like square tins or rectangular ones where you're making tray bakes, or anything that maybe a dome might not look as good in. Now another little mention on domes. Something I do so that you don't get too much of a one. In muffins, it's absolutely fine. There's not a problem with it at all. But sometimes I see pictures of people's cakes and they're, you know, it's maybe like an apex rather than, you know, a gradual bump. What you want to do is immediately before you put your pans or your cupcake trays into the oven, give them a few whacks on the worktop or your counter, and it'll expel any trapped air, and it does reduce the amount of doming that happens. So I'll show you some pics up here. My normal layer cakes, and here's some pics with the foil around the tins, and here's how they look when they came out. Much flatter. Also here's a pic of the pancake cake in the process of making it, where I've stacked them, and then it was actually, I didn't need to do any cutting, there was a little tiny gap. My tins are not straight up, they're a slight, you know, incline like that. So when it came to filling in the buttercream, I just put it in a little bit in the gap, and it was enough, and they stacked all nice and neatly. Buttercreamed all the outside, chilled it, more again, and then you'll see the final one there of the stack of pancakes made from fondant. So that's my tips on if you want non-domed cakes.
Seeing eyes of mine, you see, there are no trees inside of me. In this desert I can look at you with love, seeing all that I can learn. Can you stay and I will grow?